which typically anything other than very large flowers or tomatoes, you're going to see an instant effect in burning at the tips of your leaves. So definitely watch out for that. There's some things you never want to mix together. I'll give you, for instance, in hydroponics, we're always trying to circulate the water so that it's aerated, so there's oxygen for the roots, or we're supplementing with an air stone to oxygenate the roots. Some people actually use hydrogen peroxide, which is a food-grade hydrogen peroxide meant for this purpose. They pour it in the solution. It works just like bubbles and stasis within the solution. It oxygenates and it helps the roots. However, it's a very caustic substance. So I see people that will come to the store and spend money for a biological additive, a bacteria or a fungus that you add to the roots to make them healthy. And then they'll follow right up with the hydrogen peroxide. They'll be like, Ted, I really am not seeing the desired effect from these products that you sold me. Ultimately, with products like hydrogen peroxide, you don't want to mix it with anything biological, because the effect of the biological product will be lessened. It will burn the biological product. So, other things that you don't want to mix, if you have very large tomato or rose or flowering plants, and you're feeding them a very strong bloom fertilizer, you want to watch out and not feed them things like kelp or seaweed, stimulants, B1s, thiamines, because they're already absorbing a great deal of fertilizer. If you add a stimulant on top of that fertilizer, you could push yourself into a deficiency because the stimulant makes it absorb everything it can, and suddenly you've opened the gate wide open for all that big fertilizer that it was just barely handling before, and then you could get into a toxicity at that point. Deficiencies are something that we touched on in our last class. Basically, a deficiency means that you're low on something. The plant looks lacking one way or another. It's lackluster, it's yellow, it's got phototropism that's not correct, which means curvature of the leaves, which isn't curving to match towards the light. It's doing its own deal regardless of the light. So you want to watch for those. To fix them, you're typically going to deplete your solution that you're working with and go to a much lighter solution, usually a plain water or a plain water with a little bit of the calcium and magnesium supplement, as most of our deficiencies are mineralistic in root. Let's see the time, make sure we're doing good. Actually, I think at that point, I think we're going to stop and we'll take our 15. We'll come back at 7:30. We'll continue on. Any questions before we break? Yes, Gino?
I guess the tomato plant.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
I sprayed the leaves, water the leaves. But I put magnesium Epsom salt.
Yes, sir.
And I don't know, I think I failed, but after I did that, I sprayed the Epsom salt on top of the leaves and on the bottom. The next day they start drooping and turning off a little different ways.
Okay.
And a lot of my leaves, I might have burned it, right?
Yeah, okay, so two things that right off the top of my head that you might have done wrong. Were the lights on when you sprayed?
Yeah.
Never do that again. I'll tell you why. Just like your yard and the house, you would water in the morning or you would water in the evening with the garden. Never at noon, in the middle of the day, for fear that the water droplet sitting on the leaf would then be magnified, or would magnify the light and burn the leaf down. So that's one way you could have gone wrong, is that with the lights all the way up, you could get burning through magnification. Number two, anything that you give the plant typically needs to be pH adjusted. I would go ahead and guess that you did not pH adjust it before spraying.
No, but I did the water, and I knew the water was at the right pH level.
But if you do the water and then you add anything to the water, it changes the value.
Okay.
Exactly. So you always do it after the fact. Put everything you can in there, mix it in good, then check it, then adjust it, because everything that you add is actually going to have a value to it. So,
should I flush it?
I would spray them with water. Next time the lights are about to go out and you're in there and you're like, okay, I got 15 minutes before they go out, spray them with water. This will remove excess mineral salts from the tops and bottoms of the leaves, thus allowing the phototropism to return to normal. For sure. Cool.